fine. Most people don't like it the first 10 minutes. No big deal. How important is a mentor and coach in your life? Everybody needs a coach in life, right? Person to help you get over what we call the Peter Principle. We all rise to our highest level of incompetence. How do we take ourselves to another level? We get a coach. We get a coach who can take us to that level. So when I thought about coaching, I thought about Bud George. So Bud George, come on up and tell us the importance of a coach in your life.
I get to tell you about coaching. I understand you're Coach Burt. So, Coach Bud for a few minutes. I do three takeaways, if you will. And I know we're pushing time and things like that. Dreams lead to expectations, and they lead to action. Okay? I want to ask you 3 questions around those 3 things. Who gave you permission to stop dreaming? Right? It's the Peter Principle. It's whatever. We tend to rise to a level. It's a kind of a level that we arbitrarily set for ourselves. A good coach is going to give you permission to break through that ceiling. Is going to give you permission to get past that. We saw Coach Burt's vision board. I don't know what you do and where you do your dreaming, but take some time every day, every week. One of the things that I like to do is quarterly get away by myself. And I just call them half-day quarterly retreats. No phone, no email. Get to a place that this time of year that's outside somewhere, that I get refocused on what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to be about. Some of the most powerful times in my life have been just quiet, still moments. Right? I haven't got to Coach Burt's condo yet on the beach, but that'll be one of my quarterly retreats. We call that one an annual, overnight deal. Just a plug for some time. Dreams lead to expectations. What are your expectations related to every part of your life? Your family? I got 2 teenagers. A lot of expectations around them, and as I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I was thinking about how much of how they act is related to what I expect of them. Scientists tell us that our expectations are more important than the circumstances. Specifically today, what you came in here expecting to hear has a lot more to do with what you will hear than what is set up here. Does that make sense? What you came in here expecting to get out of today, if you came in here not expecting to get much, I mean, you got your free lunch already, you came in here and you've met somebody and your expectations are done, and there's going to be some folks, versus I'm going to walk away with 2 or 3 takeaways. I'm going to hear one of these 10 speakers say something that is going to be make it worth my time to be here. Let me tell you this story, and this is where it really, scientists have basically, and you probably have heard about this, we've got a part of our brain, a physical part of our brain called the reticular activating system. It actually protects us from the thousands of things that happen around us. And we're either going to focus on what we don't want, or we're going to focus on what we do want. And whichever one we're focused on, which the biggest picture wins. Our mind's thinking pictures, right? So our dreams and desires, our expectations, our fears and threats are expectations. So if my expectations are around exactly what I don't want, and I keep building this picture, I sure don't want the last year like I had last year. You hear what we're saying? We continue to build a bigger picture of what we don't want, and at the end of the day, we get more of what we don't want. So our dreams create expectations. This is the story where it really clicked for me. Al Bandura is expert in neurosciences at the University of Southern California. They went to a group of kindergartners, and they tested them, and they said, out of these 20 kids, these are your top 5 students. And they told the teachers at the beginning of the year of the top 5 students. Okay? Ended up getting in trouble for this study. At the end of the year, they tested the students, and those 5 students were the top 5. I get chills when I think about the story. They made up the test at the beginning of the year. If there wasn't a test, they randomly picked 5 kids. They told the teachers who the best 5 students were, and at the end of the year, those students tested. Raising children, how are our expectations changing the way, right? Change the way you see the world, and the world around you changes. If my dreams are full and alive, and I've given myself permission to dream again, then it changes the way I expect my day to show up. It changes the way I expect my family to love one another. It changes the way the world appears around me. And then my actions follow that. Right? You can call it whatever you want. You can call it Michael's list. Every day he's got to talk to 3 people. What 3 things are you going to do today to impact your future? One of the things from a coaching standpoint that I try to figure out is, if you'll give me an hour a day to focus on your lead generation, whatever business you're in, focus on your business. Most of us spend all those working hours, all those years working in our business, very little time each day working on our business. 3 things a day, 1 hour a day, whatever it is, if my dreams and my expectations are correct, and I spend those hours, right? So from a personal standpoint, I was in a nice corporate job. Some of you may remember for 10 years I sold real estate in this community, and was not playing quite at the level of these 2 folks that we've heard before, but had a really good run at it. And Mr. Parks picked me out of the top of the market. John Floyd, he said in April of 2006, would you leave sales and come into the corporate side of things and begin to coach and train? I mean, summer of 06, the peak of our market, looking back, I'm like, man, that was perfect. All right? But as from a personal standpoint, over the past 2 or 3 months, I've had one of the most beautiful times of my life. Because my wife and I have sat there and we said, who are we? What do we want to be? How do we want to impact the world? What change? And so what I did a couple weeks ago, it was announced, I just went to Bob and said, I can't play the corporate game anymore. For my dreams and my vision, I've got to leave the corporate world, leave the regular paycheck, and jump back into sales and private coaching. So it has been the most powerful and enlightening time of my life of just going back and saying, dream again, right? Nobody gave me permission to stop dreaming. And starting to dream again, it's been a fun ride. And just jumping back in, loving on people and saying, you can be way more than you ever thought you could be.
Thank you.